But if you're the National Football League, it's becoming painfully evident this isn't just about talent anymore. It's about something deeper, something darker. And I'll be honest, I've spent the better part of the last 24 hours obsessing over one word: collusion. What I witnessed felt less like a draft and more like a heist of $40 million 0 cents robbery. No, scratch that. A $50 million 0 cents heist of Shedeur Sanders, because that's exactly what just unfolded before our eyes. The NFL draft is supposed to be a ceremony of achievement, a crowning moment for generational talent. But in the spring of 2025, that dream mutated into a nightmare for Shedeur Sanders, one that may ignite the most explosive lawsuit professional football has faced in decades. Once forecasted as a top 10 pick, the Colorado Buffaloes cornerback, the son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, plummet all the way to the 5th round, pick 144, to the Cleveland Browns. And now, what started as whispers of injustice has grown into a public uproar. The Sanders family is reportedly preparing a massive legal offensive, suing the NFL and multiple team owners for collusion, character assassination, and loss of future earnings. The deeper you investigate, the murkier this gets. From the outside, Shedeur's draft day fall made zero logical sense. What we witnessed was a collision of agendas, legacies, and power plays all unraveling over one weekend. There's the NFL's historic obsession with protecting the shield. There's the Sanders family's unfiltered legacy. There's the complex politics of the quarterback position in today's league. It's a web of motivations, and frankly, there may not be one neat answer as to why Shedeur slid the way he did. Maybe the mock drafts got it wrong. Maybe certain owners wanted to humble the Sanders name. Maybe it was just raw politics. Still, one thing is clear. This wasn't normal. And while this isn't identical to the Colin Kaepernick saga, it echoes similar themes of institutional resistance. Kaepernick was exiled for speaking truth to power. Sanders, by contrast, was humiliated across 3 days. Not for protesting, but for daring to challenge the status quo with confidence, branding, and leverage. Yes, Shedeur still landed on a roster where he could earn the starting job. But that doesn't erase the fact that something very suspect just happened. He led all of college football with a completion rate of 74.1%, shattered school records, and was the centerpiece of the most watched football phenomenon in 2 decades. And yet, despite months of projection placing him solidly in the first 2 rounds, he was left waiting for 3 excruciating days until pick 144. The cameras at his private draft party abruptly cut away. The champagne stayed sealed. The air was thick with disbelief. Deion Sanders didn't stay silent. He reportedly told close friends, "This league just blackballed my son." At first, it sounded like a grieving father, but then the leaks began. Because how does every single one of the 32 franchises pass on a quarterback universally ranked among the top 3 entering the draft? Not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but 4 full rounds of rejection. That doesn't happen to a quarterback. We've seen players fall due to injuries. We've seen talent drop from off-field concerns, but never have we seen a top 20 projected quarterback, a safe, clean, high IQ, mechanically polished leader, drop to the 5th round. It's unprecedented. Now, during the combine interviews and team meetings, NFL organizations often test players psychologically, throwing up their worst film clips, asking them to explain every misstep. Allegedly, Shedeur responded to one such critique by saying, "Maybe I'm not the guy for you." Was that defiance or honesty? Either way, it didn't sit well. Teams also intentionally plant errors in their playbook installs to see if a player notices. Reportedly, Shedeur missed one. When a coach called it out, the friction grew. And with quarterback needs dwindling, Rodgers leaning toward Pittsburgh, Ward heading to Tennessee, teams like the Giants bowed out, and the Browns had already traded down, signaling they were eyeing next year's class instead. But here's where the story shifts from miscommunication to conspiracy. According to internal documents obtained by private investigators hired by the Sanders legal team, documents currently under review by multiple independent news outlets, certain NFL owners allegedly voiced serious concerns about Shedeur's media presence, brand power, and family baggage. More damning, allegations of back-channel conversations between ownership groups advising each other to avoid drafting Sanders unless absolutely unavoidable. Sources close to the Sanders camp say this gentleman's agreement was triggered by comments made by Deion Sanders during Super Bowl Media Week, where he openly stated they would dictate terms and refuse to play for organizations that didn't align with their values, a move eerily reminiscent of the Eli Manning blueprint. This time, however, the league didn't respond with words. It allegedly responded with coordinated silence and strategic sabotage. According to insiders, the upcoming lawsuit is expected to accuse the NFL of deliberately engineering a collective campaign to suppress Shedeur Sanders' draft value, not due to a lack of talent, but because of media optics, league politics, and institutional pride. Can you really blame Cleveland for capitalizing on the moment? They played the game. They snagged a first-round caliber quarterback in the 5th round, effectively saving nearly $50 million, 0 cents. Maybe in their eyes, this was paid back, compensation for the financial disaster that was the Deshaun Watson contract. And Shedeur, just collateral in a bigger scheme. Critics pointed to his father's larger-than-life bravado, to Shedeur's alleged underwhelming performance during interviews, to his refusal to work out at the NFL Combine. All of it, they claim, hurt his draft stock. And you know what? If he had fallen to the 2nd round, that might have made some sense. But the 5th round? That's not a slip. That's a message. In the post-draft scramble, analysts tried to rationalize the fall. He's not generational. He even didn't ace the intangibles. He brought baggage. But all those justifications only intensified the Sanders legal team's belief that this was not a coincidence. It was a targeted takedown. Because how does a quarterback who led the NCAA in completion percentage, who statistically outperformed the no. 1 overall pick, fall over 130 spots? Why did every media analyst praise his stock, yet not a single NFL GM stepped forward to challenge his slide? The Sanders camp says this wasn't a matter of poor fit. It was a coordinated punishment for a family that refused to bow. A message that said loud and clear, you don't control your future, we do. And no quote embodied that gatekeeping mentality more than Colin Cowherd's now infamous line, nobody wants a celebrity backup quarterback. That soundbite, now dissected by attorneys, has reportedly been included in early drafts of the legal complaint, not just as an insult, but as evidence. And let's be real, how often have we ever seen this? A first-round quarterback taken in the 5th round? Never. That's why former players, analysts, and insiders are sounding the alarm. You're trying to teach this kid a lesson, and it backfired, one former player said. New footage just dropped, and it's rewriting the narrative. While the world expected him to be out celebrating the 4th of July weekend, living it up and laying low, Shedeur Sanders chose a different path. He could have been chilling, relaxing under fireworks. Instead, he was deep in Florida. Yes, palm trees swaying behind him, dropping dimes in the dead of night. While other quarterbacks vacation on yachts and sip cocktails on the coast, Sanders is grinding in silence. The message is clear. He will not be denied. What do I want people to understand about me? Understand this. I work, I grind, and I love this game. That's all you really need to know. No drama, no off-field distractions, just focus, discipline, and obsession. What stood out most? The kids watching him train, running beside him, clapping when he finished his reps. The city feels it. He's not just visiting, he's becoming the heartbeat of the community. Now here's where things elevate further. Despite limited time with the first team offense, Sanders has picked up the playbook at lightning speed. Coaches noticed it. Teammates felt it. During the final stretch of OTAs and minicamp, his preparation became impossible to ignore. Once preseason hits, one insider said, he's not just going to compete, he's going to overtake. Breaking. What Shedeur Sanders just did in a Florida thunderstorm has NFL scouts holding emergency meetings while the rest of the league unwinds. Sanders is out here redefining what commitment looks like. And the footage, it's jaw-dropping. This young quarterback isn't just NFL ready. He's about to transform the position entirely. After studying hundreds of elite quarterback training sessions, this stands alone. And wait until you see what he does with his left hand. It's a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare. What separates the great from the legendary? It's not talent, it's discipline in the dark. It's what you do when nobody's clapping, when no cameras are expected, when the world is asleep. Imagine this, it's well past midnight. The Florida sky is dumping rain. The air is thick with humidity. Most are curled up watching Netflix, but not Shedeur Sanders. He's in the storm, working, grinding, evolving. This isn't just bad weather training, it's psychological warfare against complacency. Each raindrop stinging his face is a reminder, while others rest, he rises. While others scroll, he studies. While others wait, he works. On film, you see his progressions, crisp, deliberate, his footwork razor sharp even on slick turf, his throws laser precise. There's no frustration, no excuses, just focus, hunger, and surgical execution. This isn't training, this is transformation. But here's what even seasoned analysts miss. He's not just conditioning his body, he's training his mind to thrive in chaos. Every throw in these monsoon-like conditions is worth 10 in perfect weather. He's mastering the art of making the impossible look routine. Now let's talk mechanics, because this part's insane. What Sanders is doing with his throwing technique has NFL coordinators writing entire defensive schemes. Forget what you thought you knew about quarterbacking. This isn't just mobility. This isn't just dual threat athleticism. This is a quarterback who can unleash NFL-level throws with either hand, without losing an ounce of velocity or accuracy. Most defenses rely on tendencies, film, habits, alignment. But Sanders? He's erasing every tell, every clue. His signature crab walk drop back, it isn't flash. It's misdirection warfare. Where traditional quarterbacks tip their hand with footwork or shoulders, Sanders stays unreadable. Here's the dagger. He rolls right, plants, and lures the entire secondary to shift in a split second, flips the ball to his left, and launches a perfect spiral to the far side of the field. Defenders can't react. They freeze. The play's already over. Former NFL DC Mike Zimmer said it best. Preparing for Shedeur is like facing two quarterbacks at once. There's no tendency to study, no predictable lane to defend. It's unprecedented. But this isn't just about shock value or viral highlights. Shedeur Sanders' left-hand throws aren't party tricks. They're legitimate NFL caliber passes. The spiral is tight, the velocity is elite, and the precision is surgical. But here's the truth. Raw talent alone is not enough. Without the proper mindset, it evaporates. And what Sanders is doing mentally might be even more impressive than his rare physical traits. While the sports world obsesses over his arm strength, the sharpest minds in football are watching something else entirely. His deep understanding of the business of being a quarterback in today's NFL. Respected analyst Garrett Bush recently dropped a bombshell that should shake every NFL front office. He said, Sanders isn't just playing football. He's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. This isn't just about X's and O's. It's about mastering the game within the game. It's about image, strategy, branding, messaging. Look at how Sanders is orchestrating this offseason. Every post, every training clip, every public word calculated. He's not just building skill. He's building an empire. When he posts those midnight training sessions in stormy Florida, he's not just grinding. He's making a statement to his teammates. I'm all in. To his coaches, I'm built for this. To the doubters, you were wrong. And to the fans, I'm worth the belief. Garrett Bush highlighted what many miss. NFL success today isn't just earned on Sundays. It's about forging an unbreakable bond with the fans. Look at Brady. Look at Rodgers. Their greatness wasn't just in their arms. It was in their ability to make fans believe. That's exactly what Sanders is doing. His most brilliant move, using his work ethic as a weapon. Every time a critic questions his readiness, every time an analyst says he needs time, he turns their doubt into fuel, then broadcasts the results. Recently, Sanders said, I will not be deterred. That's not just confidence. That's a war cry against mediocrity. He's not just chasing a roster spot. He's claiming leadership. He's stepping into the spotlight as the future face of the franchise. His words about Cleveland, his bond with the community, his awareness of what the city craves. This is franchise quarterback energy from day one. No flashy free agent signings, no headline-chasing trades. Instead, the Browns recalibrated their approach intentionally, and that pivot began with Judkins. Riceland didn't sugarcoat it. I think it's Judkins, he declared when asked which rookie would move the needle the most. And the reasoning is clear. Judkins isn't some volatile boomer-bust wild card. He's the embodiment of dependability. Across 3 seasons spanning the brutal SEC and Big Ten, he consistently posted 1,000-plus yards and 14-plus touchdowns every single year. No off years, no drop-off, just relentless production. But this isn't just about stat padding. Riceland keyed in on something subtle yet vital, dominating first down. It may not be a highlight reel moment, but gaining 4-6 yards on first down transforms everything. It unlocks the playbook, it puts defenses on their heels, and Judkins is built for that trench warfare. Even before fully digesting the Browns' playbook, this 21-year-old is going to be manufacturing second and manageable scenarios, the lifeblood of sustained drives. And here's the kicker. Judkins might just be the heir apparent to Nick Chubb. Now, hold on. That's not a statement made lightly. Chubb isn't merely a beloved player. He's the soul of Cleveland's offense, the physical manifestation of Brown's grit. But with injury clouds looming, the need for a reliable successor is urgent. Judkins isn't Chubb yet, but he's explosive, resilient, and hungry to prove he belongs. And he's not entering the backfield alone. Let's not overlook the Browns' 4th-round steal, Deion Sanders. The Tennessee product logged a jaw-dropping 1,491 yards and 22 touchdowns last season. If deployed strategically, Stefanski could unleash a dynamic 2-headed rushing attack, Judkins as the tone setter, Sampson as the space exploiter. Now picture this, a wide zone scheme finally running as it was intended. Judkins pounding defenses into submission. Sampson slicing through open lanes, mismatches everywhere, flexibility the Browns haven't had in years. This isn't just a rebuild, this is a reimagining. But here's where things get truly compelling, because all that offensive firepower could amount to absolutely nothing if the offensive line can't hold its ground. That's the unspoken crisis, the elephant in the locker room. And analyst Trevor Seekema isn't mincing words. Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, both on the wrong side of 30, and both showing clear regression in their PFF grades. Ethan Posick, the man in the middle, surrendered more pressures than he has in any season since his rookie year. Jack Conklin is playing for a new contract, and DeJuan Jones, the one they're hinging their right tackle hopes on, posted a sub-50 PFF grade last season. Let that sink in. This revamped offense loaded with fresh weapons and theoretical upgrades is still being shielded by a front 5 that gave up 66 sacks last year. That's not just a warning sign. That's a screaming alarm. If this line disintegrates, everything collapses. The excitement around Judkins, Fannin, or the rookie quarterbacks, irrelevant. The offensive line will be either the launch pad for a new Browns era or the anchor that pulls it all back into darkness. And that takes us to the architect behind it all, General Manager Andrew Berry. This isn't hyperbole. His future in Cleveland rides on this draft class. The 2025 NFL Draft wasn't just another opportunity. It was a crucial, career-defining moment. And Berry, his resume is checkered. While Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was his crown jewel, he's now out for the 2025 season with a significant neck injury. That puts the spotlight firmly on a new set of names. Quinshon Judkins, Mason Graham, and one of the rookie quarterbacks they must hit. Berry passed on generational talent Travis Hunter at no 2, instead gambling on Graham at no 5. Bold, yes, risky without question. But it underscores how desperately Berry is hunting for cornerstone players. Mason Graham has to dominate in the trenches. Judkins must energize the offense. And one of those quarterbacks, he needs to emerge as the guy. Let's not forget Harold Fannin Jr., a record-setting tight end who must now evolve into a consistent, explosive presence in a receiving core that's thin on experience and short on spark. So here we are, perched on the edge of what could be a franchise-defining season for the Cleveland Browns, a roster re-infused with youth, a fan base fueled by hope, a front office on the clock. This is no longer about raw talent. It's about execution, durability, leadership, and grit. And somehow, it might all hinge on the hunger and heart of a 21-year-old running back, Quinshon Judkins, the unlikeliest hero Cleveland never knew it needed. So what say you, Browns Nation? Is Judkins the future of this offense? Do you believe in Andrew Berry's vision? Or are we staring down the barrel of yet another rebuild in disguise? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you believe this team is building something real, and don't forget to subscribe for all the twists, turns, and touchdowns of this unfolding Browns saga. Because here's the truth. 2025 isn't just another season, it's the climax of a storyline that's been building for years. Every draft pick, every trade, every quarterback shuffle, it all comes to a head now. And no one feels that pressure more than Andrew Berry. After the Deshaun Watson blockbuster, a deal that some insiders are already whispering could go down as one of the worst trades in league history. Berry is on the brink. This isn't about building a better team anymore. It's about saving his job, about salvaging the future. Let's talk quarterbacks. Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, two high-profile rookies with polar opposite styles, both carry an immense potential, but also immense risk. Let's be honest. Rookie QBs rarely thrive behind shaky protection and identity crises. If either one flashes even a hint of long-term promise this season, that's a massive win. But if they both struggle, two overall pick in 2026 may be the final lifeline Berry has to get the quarterback situation right. And don't think ownership isn't watching. Jimmy Haslam made it clear at the league meetings back in March, this isn't about improvement. It's about results. It's about survival. The perception around Andrew Berry has evolved from young visionary to a general manager walking a tightrope with the abyss below. With 7 selections in this year's draft, he needs 3 minimum to become foundational players. So zoom in, focus. Quinshon Judkins, Mason Graham, Dillon Gabriel, Harold Sammy Jr., Carson Schwesinger, Dylan Sampson, Shedeur Sanders. These aren't just names. They're either the bricks of a new dynasty or the final remnants of another shattered plan. Maybe that's why this offseason feels different. Not noisy, not flashy, but quiet, determined, like a franchise that understands the stakes and is preparing not with noise, but with intent. So Browns fans, it's your turn. Do you trust this rookie class? Can Judkins rise? Can Berry redeem himself and finally chart a new course for Cleveland? Let us know in the comments. Hit that like button if you feel this team has something real brewing. And subscribe, because this isn't just a rebuild. This might be the reckoning. Go Browns. But what if I told you that deep inside Berea, behind the media smiles, the polished pressers, and the preseason optimism, the fate of the Cleveland Browns isn't being determined by touchdowns or training camp performance, but by egos, underlying tensions, and franchise-altering decisions that could fracture the locker room before a single down is played? What if the face of the franchise has quietly disappeared? The team's biggest star is hanging by a thread, and the most polarizing quarterback on the roster is the one fans are begging to never take the field. This isn't your typical offseason. This is a storm, silent, brewing, ready to erupt. And at the center of it all, a rookie feeling the weight of the world, a veteran being ignored, and a front office orchestrating moves that could shape the next decade of Browns football, for better or worse. You're not going to believe how deep this story goes. But before we go any further, smash that like button, but only if you've been repping brown and orange for 17 plus years. It means everything to see generations of loyal fans ride this roller coaster together. If you're one of them, drop this in the comments. Go Browns, my heart bleeds brown and orange. All right, buckle up. As we barrel into the 2025 season, the Cleveland Browns are facing a quarterback conundrum that's not just splitting the locker room, it's splitting the fan base and the analysts too. Kenny Pickett, the understated system-friendly signal caller, is emerging as the coaching staff's hand-picked choice. Because deep down, everyone in that building knows he's better than the guy they drafted ahead of him. They all know. But here's where the narrative gets even messier. Shedeur didn't help his own cause. Some say his confidence rubbed people the wrong way. His father, Coach Prime, spoke publicly about wanting full control over where his son landed. On a podcast, he even admitted, if I can get him where I want him to go, I'll make it happen. And then Shedeur made waves with comments of his own at the Combine. If you want a new culture in your locker room, I'm your guy. Was it arrogance or authentic leadership? It's hard to say. But one thing is clear, he put HBCU football on the map. He elevated Jackson State. Then he took Colorado, a program buried in irrelevance, and turned it into the epicenter of college football. He made people watch. So when the league collectively ignored that impact, it wasn't just disrespectful, it was deliberate. This isn't just about Shedeur Sanders. This is Deion Sanders versus the NFL establishment. Thank you, guys. See you next video.